The Instax Wide Evo is Fujifilm's larger hybrid instant camera. Now I have the Mini Evo and I've made a number of videos about this camera. It's not perfect, but it is a lot of fun. I'm really excited to have a larger format. That means bigger prints, more megapixels, and even more features. Like the Mini Evo, it has an app. You can use your phone as a remote and to print some photos. It has USB-C charging, while the Mini Evo only has regular USB. The battery doesn't last all day, so a portable charger is a must. The Wide actually isn't perfect. I have some really big frustrations. Some things are actually worse than the Mini Evo. Let's start with the good, the 5 things that I love about this camera. The Evo format is its strongest feature. I love the hybrid system. You can shoot with it as a camera and then choose which shots to print. You can print directly from your phone. It works as an instant printer too. You can print the same image multiple times. I just love that about this camera. Just like the Mini Evo, it has microSD support. You can expand the storage and you're not stuck with just the internal memory. Now, in my opinion, this is a must-have. It makes it so much easier to transfer files to your computer using that microSD card. Without the card, you can only transfer photos that you have printed. And the transferred photos actually have a border on them. I would highly recommend getting a microSD for this camera. The third thing that I love about this camera is it has more megapixels. It has a higher resolution when compared to the Mini Evo. The Mini Evo has 4.9 megapixels, while the Wide Evo has 16 megapixels. Larger files means more options. The print size of the Wide Evo is almost the same size as a Mini Evo. And when I print a picture from my phone, the same picture on the Wide and the Mini, the Wide had less detail in the shadows, but it was more saturated. Now, the fourth thing that I love about the Instax Wide Evo is that it has 2 shooting modes. You can have wide on or wide off. You just change this switch back and forth. It's nice to have the option, but you can also crop your image before you print it. And as you can see with this example, the print is pretty good. Now, when you switch this switch, it isn't changing lenses. It's just an internal crop, but that gives you some flexibility when you're composing the image. The problem is that the cropped files are about 1/3 of the size of the full wide images. Now, when I compare the wide cropped image to the Mini Evo, the file size is close. The wide crop actually is better quality. When you zoom in, you'll see that the Mini Evo has artifacts. Details aren't as sharp as you can see in this example. Now, I printed a Mini Evo picture, one that I captured with this camera, and then I transferred it using my micro SD card onto the Wide Evo and I printed it. And then I printed a photo that I took with this camera from the same spot. And I bet you can't tell which one is which. So the Mini Evo really stands up in quality if I print it on the wide format. The fifth thing that I love about this camera is film styles. This is a new feature, and I love this cool new addition. You press the button on the top of the camera to access these different film styles. There's normal, cinematic, date stamp, collodion process, contact sheet, and film strip. And you'll know that it's working because this will be orange. Now, some of my favorites, I really love film strip, collodion, and cinematic, which is like a panoramic. Now, this camera has 10 lens and 10 film effects, which is 100 combinations. Now, you combine this with the film styles, and that's 600 possible combinations. One of the surprises that I have is that when I capture a photo using the film style, it takes a lot longer before you can take another. If the film style is turned off, it's a faster recycle time. It would also be cool if the film strip number changed because it's always 25. Let's talk about the 5 things that I hate about this camera. So the metering overall is okay. The exposure in mixed lighting is not great. It struggles more in mixed light than the Mini Evo. The Mini Evo handled tricky light with more accuracy. I often need to dial in some minus exposure compensation up to 2 stops. and the dynamic range of the prints is just not as good. Now, it has lens and film effects like the Mini Evo, and you can change the lens and film effects with the thumb dials. I really like the placement of those. You know, it's not super fast to scroll, but it's pretty cool. I also like that I can make favorites and access them using the plus button on the back of the camera. Again, it's also slow to scroll through those different options. So it has some lens effects. Now, some of them are the same as the Mini Evo and some are new. There's normal and light leak, those are the same. Light prism is new. It has sort of a circular light artifact in the middle of the frame. Vignette is the same as the Mini Evo. Soft glow is kind of like soft focus on the Mini Evo. Double exposure and color shift are both on the Mini Evo. It has monochrome blur, which is kind of like blur, but it has part of the image in color and part of the image in monochrome, which is new. It also has color gradient and beam flare, which are both new. Missing are mirror, half frame, and fisheye from the Mini Evo. Now, when it comes to film effects, some are the same as the Mini Evo and some are new. Normal and vivid are both the same. Warm is new. Sky blue is the same as the Mini Evo. Light green is new. Magenta is kind of like red on the Mini Evo. Sepia and monochrome are on the Mini Evo. It has something called amber, which is, I guess, kind of like yellow on the Mini Evo, and a new one called summer. It's missing retro, canvas, and pale. But this is the most disappointing thing about this camera. It's a real downgrade from the Mini Evo. The Mini Evo, I could be creative. I could mix different filters. One of my favorite things to do was to mix the multiple exposure and different filters. So I would take my first shot of the multiple exposure, maybe in black and white, and then my second shot in color, and I could have a mixture of those two things. Check out my other video on the Mini Evo for examples of these filters. When I do that with this camera, it automatically defaults to the second image. So if I take the first image in black and white and the second one in color, both parts will be in color. That's really frustrating. The Mini Evo allowed me to push my creativity. The Wide Evo is really holding me back in comparison. This is absolutely the biggest disappointment that I have with this Wide Evo. The third thing that I hate about this camera is that it's slow to start up. It takes about 4 to 5 seconds to power on. It's almost twice as long as the Mini Evo in my tests. This makes this camera feel sluggish and unresponsive. Now I've got to turn it off to save battery, but it's difficult when a situation is unfolding quickly in front of me and I need to take a photo right away and I've got to wait 4 to 5 seconds for the camera to turn on. The fourth thing that I hate about this camera is that it can't fire shots quickly one after another. There's a big shooting delay. In my tests, the Wide Evo takes 3 to 4.5 seconds between shots, depending on how quickly it can achieve focus to take the next shot, while the Mini Evo is 2.5 to 4 seconds. It's also not great, but just a little bit better. They are both slow for capturing action or a series of shots, and this really slows down the shooting experience overall. Finally, the fifth thing that I hate about this camera is screen visibility. The LCD goes very dark when I'm holding the camera vertically, especially when I have the shutter button on top. If I have the shutter button on the bottom, it's not as bad, but I tend to shoot this way. It's almost black at certain angles. It's worse than the Mini Evo screen, which isn't great in bright light. The Wide Evo has a lot to like, but it comes with some clear frustrations. Speed, usability, and simplified filters make it feel less capable than the Mini Evo. Standouts are film styles and more megapixels. I enjoy using it, but I also get annoyed and frustrated at the same time. What about you? Would you accept slower performance and fewer features for bigger prints and the creative film styles of the wider format? If you have any thoughts or questions, please share them in the comments below. If you like the content I'm creating, please consider subscribing. Thanks so much.